Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and this might look a little familiar. It should look a little familiar if you've been watching my channel for any amount of time. Uh, I have decided I'm going to make an updated video for my collection of video games. That came out weird. And it might look a little bit different because I am not using my regular Nikon D3100. I'm just so sick of the 10-minute time limit that Nikon has on the D3100, so eventually I'll get a new DSLR. I don't know if I'm going to go with a Canon or a Nikon. I really love you, Nikon, but you're slipping. You're slipping. In this video, I'm actually using a GoPro Hero 4 Silver Edition, so it's the first time I've ever made a video using my GoPro, so we'll see how this turns out. Hopefully it turns out good. If it doesn't, then I might use the footage and then in post voice over all of this, but who knows. First and foremost, one of the first games I got for my Xbox One, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. The lighting is getting in my way. But yes, this is a really good game. I really like Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. It split the community. I'm in the side of the community where I think it's a good game. That's why I'm telling you it's a good game. I just don't think it's the best Assassin's Creed game. This is essentially what set the archetype for open world video games. You know, you put them in a huge, massive open world and you give them a bunch of grindy tasks to do. And that's what this game does really well. If you really want to get a lot of bang for your buck, a lot of time in a game for your buck, and a very pretty game at that, a very colorful, beautiful game, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag is that game. The ocean's really big. I guess that's what I'll say. You can read some reviews on this. It's a good game. It's just it was kind of the third Assassin's Creed game that was kind of lukewarm to a lot of Assassin's Creed fans. Next up, we have Assassin's Creed Unity. Gotta get it just right. And now, this game, a lot of people give it a lot of shit, and for good reason. It doesn't have a very good frame rate, even after they've updated it and, added all the DLC and did everything they can with it. It wasn't meant to be with Assassin's Creed Unity. Oops. I think it's a much better Assassin's Creed game than Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I like the updates that they made to the combat and the free running system and everything like that, but there's still a lot of problems with the game. The crowds were the biggest problem with the game. I know that was one of their big selling points with this game, but the Xbox One and PS4 they aren't ready for it. And then they botched the PC port. If the PC port would have been really good, then we may be having a different discussion about Assassin's Creed Unity. But unfortunately, they botched a lot on Assassin's Creed Unity, and now it has become a running joke. So much so that the current Assassin's Creed game that I picked up day one, and the disc isn't even in this case anymore, Assassin's Creed Syndicate. This game I was actually really hyped for. This is one of my most anticipated games of this year, and thus far I'm enjoying it. But the reason I'm enjoying it is kind of the same reason that I enjoyed Mad Max. It's open world. It's an open world game. They give you a bunch of tasks to do, and then you complete them. I will say that this is probably, as it stands right now, the best story in an Assassin's Creed game since Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. It does take a lot of, I guess you could say, inspiration from Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, but I'd rather have it be taking inspiration from Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood rather than inspiration from Assassin's Creed Unity. Also, this game is gorgeous. It is a beautiful, beautiful version of London. Very, very well designed. But there are little problems. I'll probably make a video about Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Other than the first take video I made, I'll probably make a more detailed video later on. But we'll have to wait until I finish the game. Next up, we have what was one of my most anticipated games of 2015. That is Batman Arkham Knight. And I'm going to be brutally honest with this. I'm a little disappointed with Batman Arkham Knight. I really am. The tagline was, of course, "Be the Batman, be the Batman." And I liked it. I really liked it. But it didn't give it enough oomph. It didn't have enough of what I wanted. It relied too heavily on the Batmobile. And they didn't change enough with the combat. And a lot of people now have started to have the discussion of, is the free flow combat of Batman, the Batman Arkham games, really any good? I still stand on the side that I think the combat in the Batman Arkham games is really good, but I do know there are a lot of people that have started to think that it actually isn't very good. It's too simple. There's not enough complexity to it. There is a lot of complexity to it, just like there's a lot of complexity to the combat in Devil May Cry or Bayonetta. It's just you have to learn those different combo moves, and there are a lot of free flow gadget combos in the Batman Arkham games, but I don't think they pushed those enough to really push the Batman Arkham series forward. And this is the last Batman game that Rocksteady is going to be making. Of course, I can almost guarantee you Warner Brothers Montreal is going to make another Batman game, probably in this style. Who knows what Rocksteady is going to do next? Hopefully it's better than Batman Arkham Knight, though. And I know there's going to be people that say, "Oh, you're just being too judgmental." Maybe I am, but I expected so much more from Batman Arkham Knight, and it just didn't deliver on all those points. Next up, we have 2 Call of Duty games. Call of Duty Ghosts. I don't think there's really anything I can say about this game that hasn't been said already. It's a bad Call of Duty game. And it's not just because, Call of Duty's a bad game. No, it's because it didn't have a good story. It didn't have good multiplayer. It just wasn't a good Call of Duty game. It was average at best. And Call of Duty in of itself is a very average series. It's the multiplayer and the set pieces of the single player campaign that make it good. And this game just botched on just about every single one of those points. But next, we have the first Call of Duty game from Sledgehammer Games, and that is Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. And I know a lot of Call of Duty fans really didn't like Advanced Warfare, but I loved Advanced Warfare. This is the best Call of Duty game in a very long time. And I really liked playing the multiplayer in this. I really liked playing through the single-player campaign. I would actually replay the single-player campaign of this game just because the single-player campaign is so good. I like the exoskeleton idea. I like adding jetpacks and free running and everything like that to really add a vertical level to the game. It's just the Call of Duty faithful didn't like this. And every time I see a video about this, they always say the same thing. Well, you're taught to scan left to right for enemies, not up and down. No, if Titanfall is incredible and you have to scan all over to find an enemy in Titanfall, and that's the same way you have to play this game. You have to constantly be checking your six, be checking above you, be checking below you, be checking all of your surroundings, and you have to stay vigilant. Otherwise, yeah, you're going to have a bad time. But I really enjoyed Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, and I just think the Call of Duty community was definitely too harsh on it because it wasn't similar enough to Black Ops or Black Ops 2 or Modern Warfare 2 or anything like that. It was something completely different, and I applaud Sledgehammer for doing that. Next up, we have what a lot of people consider to be a huge disappointment. I'm kind of in that camp. I don't think it was the best game ever, but I don't think it was god-awful garbage like some other people do, and that is good old Destiny. Oh, Destiny. How you were so hyped up by Bungie and Activision, and how you botched your launch entirely. This game could have been so much more than what it was at launch, and with the Taken King, it has been updated, but I think it might be too little too late. A lot of people have already made their decision on Destiny, and I think they're not going to get as many new players as they think they will. I think their 10-year plan for Destiny is going to be shortened to a 3 or 4-year plan before they announce Destiny 2, and then release it probably not just for the Xbox One and PS4, but they'll probably also release it on PC because that makes a lot of sense. It's a multiplayer first-person shooter. You want to release it on PC. That's where we'll get a lot of playtime. Next, we have a game that is very controversial. I have this game on the Xbox 360, and I really like this game. And that is the reboot DMC Devil May Cry. This is the definitive edition, 1080p, 60 FPS, all the original DLC, a bunch of new features. They tweaked the combat a little bit. They added some new modes to it. This is actually a very competent DMC game, and I really like the fact that they rebooted the series because I'd hate to break it to the DMC faithful. Even though Capcom made the DMC 4 remake, they're not going to make another DMC game. This was the last chance that you had for a DMC game, and because of how poorly it sold and the fan backlash, I can almost guarantee you that the DMC franchise is dead in the water. Unless we hear something about another DMC game in this style in the next year, maybe 2, it's definitely done. This was kind of like the last chance for the DMC franchise because once again, Capcom is not going to make another DMC game. Capcom is not doing anything really at the moment, and Ninja Theory honestly gave it a good effort. This was actually a good game. It just wasn't well received by fans, and it sold poorly because of it, which is sad because I really like the reboot DMC, as I said. Next up, we have a huge, gigantic RPG, Dragon Age Inquisition. And I'm going to be honest, I've played the first Dragon Age Origins. I haven't played Dragon Age 2. I bought this. I played this. I don't know what it is, but I just can't get into the world of Dragon Age. It's not BioWare's writing style. It's not the setting because I can get into a medieval RPG. I can't. The combat to me just feels very stiff and unresponsive. And I know they went with that similar style to the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic combat, but I can't get into these games. I know they're good. I haven't found anything ridiculously bad with this game or any other Dragon Age game. It's just I can't really get into the game, which is probably a bit of a failing on my part, but I can't get into a Dragon Age game, which is really unfortunate because I really like Dragon Age, the idea of Dragon Age. But moving along, here we have a game that I have, oddly enough, sunk over 20 hours into and still have not beat it, and that is Far Cry 4. Now, Far Cry 4, once again, follow-up to Far Cry. It's built using the same engine as Far Cry 3, which I loved Far Cry 3. And this time you're set in the Himalayan mountains, I believe. Small, I think it's a fictional country, Kirat. Once again, the villain, Pagan Min, is a very good character, but beyond that, there's not really much going on with the story. The gameplay is Far Cry gameplay, open world, FPS, crazy bullshit. You can use a grenade launcher as a sidearm instead of a pistol, which is fucking insane. I really like Far Cry 4. And I love how insane and over the top some of the missions are in Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 4. If you didn't enjoy Far Cry 3, you're not going to enjoy Far Cry 4. If you enjoyed Far Cry 3 as much as I did, you are going to absolutely adore Far Cry 4. So, next on the list, we have another game that I picked up with my console, Forza Motorsport 5. Now, this game is still pretty amazing to look at today, even with Forza Horizon 2 and Forza Motorsport 6 that's already out or it's coming out, I can't remember. Has Top Gear presentation. It's insane at the amount of cars that are in here. You have everyone, as you can see, you might be able to see it at the bottom of the packaging right down here in this area. You have everyone. You have McLaren, Audi, GM, Ferrari, Ford, Lamborghini. I couldn't see Lamborghini's symbol. I didn't realize what that was. Subaru, Aston Martin. You have Indy cars. You have BMW. You have Honda. Jesus, some of these Pagani and Nissan. I should recognize some of these symbols because I'm going to be honest. I live in a pretty rich area, and I see Aston Martins, Paganis, Ferraris, Lamborghinis. I see Teslas. I've never seen a McLaren. It wouldn't surprise me if someone around here had a McLaren, but I see really expensive like Italian and European exotic cars all the time, and I just don't recognize the logos for the company. Besides Lamborghini and Ferrari, there's one other company I'm forgetting about, but I see a lot of cars, exotic cars around here. But Forza Motorsport 5, really good game. You can probably pick it up really cheap. I haven't seen many used copies of it, or I haven't been checking the price of many used copies. But Forza Motorsport 5, really good. I really have started to prefer Forza over Gran Turismo, and I know some people are going to say that's sacrilege, but I really do think Forza is better. Next up, we have one of the biggest games ever released, arguably the biggest game ever released, Grand Theft Auto 5. Now, this is a classic in every sense of the word. For me, this still hasn't topped Grand Theft Auto Vice City. That's still my favorite Grand Theft Auto, but it's worlds better than San Andreas. Call a mulligan on San Andreas, and I know a lot of people get pissed off at me whenever I say that, but San Andreas was just too big with too little to do. This adds a really big, detailed open world, a really good storyline. It's hard to find faults with this game. It really is. If you don't own Grand Theft Auto 5, you're doing it wrong. That's the bottom line. That's one of the best games you can get. Speaking of one of the best games you can get, this is one of the best exclusives that Microsoft has to offer. Bottom line, hands down, one of the best value per dollar offerings there is. And Microsoft has two games like this that are such good value per dollar that you'd be stupid to not own both of these in your Xbox One collection. Halo, the Master Chief Collection. This has Halo, Halo 2, Halo 3, and Halo 4 on it. You can buy this used for definitely less than $60, but this is one of the best games available for the Xbox One. Just a fantastic single-player storyline in all of the Halo games. The multiplayer still hasn't really been fixed, the last that I've seen, which is really unfortunate because this has so much multiplayer on it. Halo 2, all the maps from Halo and Halo 2 and Halo 3, and then remastered versions of those maps. It's so insane. I really wish they wouldn't have botched the multiplayer on this, but just for the single player campaigns alone, this is worth it in my opinion. Then following that up, we have one of the yearly releases, another yearly release, Madden NFL 15 with Odell Beckham Jr. on the cover. For those of you that don't know, I have played football my entire life, American football, for those of you in any other part of the world. Which, while I'm at it, Japan also says soccer. The U.S. is not the only country that says soccer instead of football. But American football, which for people who don't know why it's called football, the ball is a foot long, so they just called it football. All 32 NFL teams, all the players, not all of the coaches. Sean Payton and Bill Belichick don't give their likeness to Madden. Don't know why, but they just don't. But this is Madden. If you don't like Madden, you don't like Madden. If you play Madden like me every single year, then you know what to expect from it. I really wish they would do something and really update it. I wish they would bring back, like, in 2007, there was a whole system where you could build a player and then enter the NFL draft and get randomly drafted by a team in a random round. I really wish they would bring that back for Madden NFL 16, or hopefully they bring it back in Madden NFL 17, because they brought back EA tracks in Madden NFL 16. But continuing on, we have here a good open world game, a good Mad Max game, but not necessarily what people were wanting, especially because this released the same day as Metal Gear Solid 5. I bought this instead of Metal Gear Solid 5 because I'm going to be honest, I still have a bad taste in my mouth from Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. And I just couldn't convince myself to buy Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain because I don't pay attention in the Metal Gear storyline. But Mad Max, great films, 2 of them. But I like this game. I like the idea behind it. There is a bug in this game that I don't know if Warner Brothers has fixed yet. But there's a bug where, for some reason, at least I've experienced this, after the game saves, it sets my progress back an hour, which is why I just can't play this game anymore, because I'd play for like 3 hours and I'd end up having to replay an hour after I came back to the game. It's a little annoying bug. Following that mess up, we have 2 of the best FPS games you can buy. Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light here in the Metro Redux bundle for the Xbox One. You can also get this on the PS4. 1080p, 60 FPS, amazing games. I have Let's Played both of these games on PC. I love these games. These games are 2 of the best FPS games I've ever played, and that's pretty high praise because I've played a lot of FPS games, and the atmosphere, the guns, the tension, everything is just so perfect about these games, and the storylines in both of these games are really good. And then next up here, we have possibly the best value per dollar offering on not just the Xbox One, but the PS4 as well. The best value per dollar offering ever, in my opinion, and that is the Rare Replay. This game came out, 30 games for $30. What more do you want, is my question. This is just a fantastic bundle. You get 30 Rare games going back all the way to the 80s, all the way up to modern day, and this is really a celebration of Rare. And I know some people are bummed that GoldenEye isn't on this collection, but the reason GoldenEye isn't on this collection is probably because of licensing, and Microsoft might be trying to do something with the licensing for the Rare for 007 GoldenEye to try and get it on the Xbox One, and probably some type of bundle. Hopefully Microsoft can get something done with 007 GoldenEye. But this is really a great bundle. You get everything. You get Conker's Bad Fur Day in here. You get Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie. You get Grabbed by the Ghoulies. You get Perfect Dark. You get Cameo. You get everything in this bundle. It is worth it. You get Battletoads and Battletoads Arcade. Like, this is worth it. This is worth every penny, in my opinion, just because of how many great games you get on it. Continuing onwards, we have another launch title for the Xbox One, Ryse Son of Rome, clocking in at 900p. This is still, in my opinion, one of the best showpieces for a console of all time. Even though it's not running at 1080p, it's still running very well. It still is a beautiful game. And hopefully something will be done with the Ryse system, because even though it wasn't well received, it had a good idea behind it. And hopefully, it might not be Crytek that expands on this system, but hopefully Microsoft can find someone to expand on this system. It might not be a Ryse 2, but they'll definitely use the combat system of this game somewhere else, and they'll definitely use the engine from this game somewhere else, and probably optimize it better than Crytek did, and try to get it running at at least scaling 1080p resolution. Next up, we have, this is one of my favorite series in video games, especially in the modern times, and I'm a little shocked that this came out, but it did come out, and I did buy it, and that is Saints Row 4 Reelected and Gat Out of Hell. Now, you don't need Saints Row 4 to play Gat Out of Hell. I just really wanted this bundle because I wanted Saints Row 4 and I wanted Gat Out of Hell, and this is really good. I've bought Saints Row for 3 times. Once on PC, once on the Xbox 360, and now on the Xbox One. This is a very good game. I would highly recommend it if you're into clever, funny writing, jokes, or open world video games, because this is really good. Of course, you have like superpowers in this game, which make you ridiculously OP. But it's a fun little joyride, especially if you can pick it up on the cheap. Then it's even more worth your money than you think. Here we have another really good FPS game. I know some people have called this like a mediocre FPS game. I would not go that far. I would say this is actually a really good FPS game. Here we have Shadow Warrior. This is the reboot from 2013, I believe. The physical version on the Xbox One and PS4 was published by Majesco, which is how this got a physical release. Majesco said, hey, we'll do it. And that's how this happened. And I am really glad that I have a physical copy of Shadow Warrior. I bought this for $20, brand new, and I also have the game on PC. This is one of my favorite FPS games. It's a little shallow in areas, but I really, really, really like this game, and I would highly recommend it to anyone who likes single-player FPS-focused games. I believe there's a co-op element in it as well. I've never used it. It just says one player, so maybe I'm wrong about that. But I like this. There might be a co-op on PC. There's probably a mod for PC that makes it co-op. That's probably what I'm thinking about. But Shadow Warrior on PC, really good game. Next up, we have the only collector's edition for a game that I have on the Xbox One, and that is Sniper Elite 3. And this is actually a pretty hefty box. I've opened this up and showed people what's in it before, so if you want to see that, you can. This game is really good. Sniper Elite V2 got a lot of criticism for being very linear, and the reason it was linear is because it was a retelling of the Sniper Elite story from the first Sniper Elite. And they retold the story, reimagined it, and everything like that. And this is completely different. This is taking the open level design of the first Sniper Elite and the combat and gunplay from Sniper Elite V2 to make Sniper Elite 3. It's a little short, but it has a lot of replayability. I really like this game, which is why I got the collector's edition of it, because I really like the Sniper Elite games, and I really hope there's another Sniper Elite game. I really do. There might not be, but I like World War II. I like the setting. I like everything about these games. I really hope there's another Sniper Elite game coming from Rebellion at some point. I'm going to set this somewhere else because I don't put it on my shelf with all of my other Xbox One games. I display it. Next up, we have one of my favorite games for the Xbox One, and that is Sunset Overdrive. Now, this game is ridiculous. This is what what's the game with Jack Black? Brutal Legend. This is Brutal Legend, but for people who grew up listening to not just pop punk, but punk in general, like me. It's very self-referential. It's got some really funny jokes. It's got a lot of jokes that land flat on their face, but it has a lot of really funny jokes as well. I really like this game. I know some people slammed it in reviews, but I liked it. I really did like this game. I hope there's a sequel coming from Insomniac. I don't know if it will be an exclusive to the Xbox One because Microsoft does not own the Sunset Overdrive IP. They just published it, which is why it's not coming to the PS4. And it's probably not going to come to PC, so people who are hoping to get this on PC, it's not going to happen. But I really like this game. I like the idea of killing with style. That's part of the reason I like Bulletstorm so much. And I really hope there's another Sunset Overdrive because this was a really good game. Next up, we have what a lot of people be considered a failure. I don't think there's a lot of replayability in this game. I don't think this game is particularly that great, but I think it's a nice show of what the Xbox One and PS4 can do. I think it's a nicely optimized game. I think you know what, maybe it is a pretty good game. I really like playing this game, and that is Thief. Now, this game originally started as Thief 4, and this may as well be Thief 4 because it assumes that you played the first 3 Thieves. They tried to consoleize it. They made it more similar to the first game, but they also took elements from Deadly Shadow. It's a weird mishmash of gameplay ideas and level designs. It's really weird. We might not get another Thief game, but I would like to see them expand on this formula and perfect this formula of a Thief game, because I think that this could be a very good series of games. Then we have a game that's going to be a coaster once the servers shut down for it, but that is Titanfall. Now, I bought Titanfall day one. I actually pre-ordered Titanfall because I was so excited for it. I bought the headset adapter for Titanfall because I was so excited for it. And I prestiged once in Titanfall, and then I got back up to level 60, and I just went, I'm double prestige. I've done this twice. I'm good. I think I got my fill of Titanfall, and I hope that for the sequel for Titanfall, they add a single-player campaign, and they make some major adjustments to the combat to balance it a bit more, add a few more guns. Don't add too many guns, but add a few more guns. It'll be nice. There's a lot that can be done with the Titanfall formula, and I really hope that they do something with the Titanfall IP. I know that they're probably working on Titanfall 2 as we speak, but I hope that Titanfall 2 has a single-player campaign. I really do. Next, we have one of the first big HD remasters for the Xbox One and PS4. PC gamers love to call this Tomb Raider Fraud Edition, but of course it's Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. Comes with all the DLC, 1080p, 60 FPS. Very, very, very good, fun game. My sister actually, after she got her PS4, she asked me what was a good game for her to get for her PS4 because she didn't have that many games at the time. And we were at GameStop, and I said, I really like Tomb Raider, and I think you'll really like Tomb Raider. And of course, she played this game for 6 hours straight after we got it. We went to Taco Bell on our way home, and man, she just sat in the living room and played this game forever on her PS4. But this game is a really good game. I think that even if you're not into video games, you can respect the cinematic nature of the game while also respecting how good the gameplay is in this game. And if you like this game and you own a PS4, really you should buy Uncharted, the Uncharted Nathan Drake collection, because that goes hand in hand with this game. This Tomb Raider Uncharted kind of nicked some gameplay ideas from Tomb Raider, and then Tomb Raider kind of nicked some gameplay ideas from Uncharted. It's kind of weird, but you get the point. And my GoPro's low on battery. I don't know how much battery life it has left. I guess we'll see. Next up, we have Watch Dogs. High-profile failure. This is very similar to the first Assassin's Creed, in my opinion. It was a very good idea that got bastardized, and I really, really, really wish that Ubisoft would have taken more time with this game, because it really could have been something that special. Unfortunately, they botched it, and now they're working on a sequel. I hope the sequel is better than the first game, and they're probably going to tie Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed together somehow, because there's the whole Ubisoft world theory, which is a nice theory, but we'll have to see if Ubisoft actually does make that a canon for Assassin's Creed and Far Cry and Watch Dogs, because that'd be kind of funny. Have protagonists from all of those games meet up somehow. That'd be really funny, in my opinion. Next, we have probably my favorite game on the Xbox One right now, and that is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. I shouldn't need to talk about this game that long. This is The Witcher to the max. This is insane. So many hours of gameplay. I haven't even come close to the end of this game, I think. And I really, really, really like this game. I think that this is a must-own for anyone who has an Xbox One, a PS4, or a PC. Amazing game. Really great graphics. Really great voice acting. Really great cinematics. Everything about this game is just great. have a bit of a stuffy nose now. Stupid weather. Now, last but certainly not least, Wolfenstein, the New Order. This is, once again, very good game. This game's story is way better than anyone expected it to be. There's so many hours of gameplay in here. Machine Games really knocked it out of the park. And of course, this is kind of like the predecessor to Doom. And hopefully, Doom is as good, if not better, than Wolfenstein The New Order. Because if Doom is better than this game, then the new Doom has the possibility of being one of the greatest FPSs of all time. Because in my opinion, this is one of the greatest single-player FPS games made in recent years. And that is it. That is my entire Xbox One collection. And my battery's getting low, so I need to, of course, recharge my camera. But keep your eye out, because I'll probably be making collection updates for other consoles in the coming months. Well, probably in the coming days more than anything else.